Today we're talking about division with zeros in the quotient. So this can sometimes get confusing, so we're going to do several examples together. It does involve long division still, so if we are still struggling with long division, we really need to make sure that you're practicing maybe a couple problems a night with that long division, all of the steps that go with it, because when we start putting zeros in the quotient, that's one thing I've noticed teaching over the years, even middle school, is that my students would forget to put the zero up there. Okay, it gets confusing to them sometimes. So that's what we're going to be working on today, kind of little baby steps, and then we'll have some practice. So you will see some questions like this today in your practice where there are zeros up in your answer. Okay, so remember your steps for division are divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. Okay, a lot of times I just think of dad, mom, sister, brother. I don't usually remember this part, but comparing is a very small part that you do kind of just without even thinking about it. Okay, you kind of compare without even realizing that's what you're doing before you bring down the next digit. Okay, so if I were solving this basic problem using long division steps right here on the side, first thing I would do is divide 6 into 3. Does that work? No, so you can either put a placeholder or a 0. Sometimes I put a little X there. Sometimes I like to put a slash through my 0 to show that that's kind of like my placeholder. Okay, well, and then I'm going to go over and I'm going to focus on 36. Can 6 go into 36? How many whole times? 6 whole times. This is where the multiplication part comes in. What is 6 times 6? 36. Okay, so now I'm to this part right here. I have divided, I've multiplied. I'm now subtracting. I have 0 left over. Bring the 5 down. Can 6 go into 5?
Is this your comparison?
One time.
Can it?
No.
How many whole times can 6 go into 5?
0.
0 at the top. This is where a lot of people forget to put their 0. 6 divides into 5 0 times. That's why it's up here in my quotient. Okay, so I still have to go through my steps. I've divided. What is 6 times 0? 0. So I have to subtract 0, and I'm left with 5 as a remainder. How can I check my work? We've had a lot of problems like this.
I do it differently. Can do the reverse operation.
Which is what? Multiplication. So I'm going to take my answer. I'm going to take 60 wholes times the divisor out here, which is 360, and then I want to add the remainder to that. So I end up with 365. Is that what I started with? Yes, it's a great idea to check your work, guys. I know it takes more time, but you will avoid silly mistakes if you can check your work. Okay? Yes.
How 6 goes into 36 6 times, and then you just add a 0, and then the leftover 5 you just add it as a remainder.
Yeah, I'm only showing you this step right here to show that we're going through all of these steps again. I'm just trying to reiterate those steps for those of you who may still not feel great about the steps of long division. Okay, I'm going to show every step until I'm done dividing. Yes.
I do it differently.
How do you do it? Ainsley, while he's showing me. So what he's doing is he's taking, I'm going to rewrite this real quick. So he has 365 divided by 6, and I know this is 0, so 6 times 0 is 0, and then he brings down. So he even includes that very first step. Okay, do y'all see what I mean up there at the top? Yeah, you can do that other step too. You're going to eliminate room for error if you can stay in that order every single time with your digits. Okay, here's a problem. A train traveled 630 kilometers in 6 hours. To find the average speed of the train, divide 630 kilometers by 6 hours. Okay, on your whiteboards, go ahead and work this out. Okay, here's what I saw on like everybody's whiteboards pretty much. So you had this, you set it up correctly. I'm dividing by 6. I know 6 can divide into 6 one time. 6 times 1 is 6. Subtract, bring down. 6 goes into 3, 0 whole times. 6 times 0 is 0. Subtract, bring down. 6 goes into 30 5 times. 6 times 5 is 30. Subtract, nothing to bring down, nothing left over. So everybody had 105, which is correct. Great job, guys.
105.
An object on the moon has a different weight than that same object on Earth. Because of what? Gravity.
It
To
weighs lighter.
estimate the weight of an object on the moon, divide its weight on Earth by 6. So Jason weighs 115 pounds on Earth. Estimate the number of pounds he would weigh on the moon.
How old is Jason?
Estimate. That's a key word, guys. Estimate.
How old is Jason?
We don't know. It doesn't tell us.
That's probably 6 or else that's worrying.
We don't need that information. All we need is what we're told. We know he weighs 115 pounds. We would divide the weight on Earth by 6. You guys work this out on your whiteboard. Okay. Some of you are not done. That's okay. I have seen a lot of you solving this problem by doing this. Okay. You will get an exact answer and then you could round your answer. But I did see somebody with just an answer on their board. When we were estimating yesterday in that lesson with estimating and rounding, we talked about using compatible numbers so that you can work the problems out more easily.
Can I have a different marker?
So what could I round 115 to that I can divide by 6 easily?
120. 100. 120.
120. Why?
Because it's easy. Because 6 times 2 equals 20, but 6.
No, wait, what? 6 times 2 equals what?
I meant 6 times 20 equals 120, and so is 20.
So we know that 6 times 2 equals 12.
6 times 2 equals 12.
Yeah.
And it'd be
'Kay.
easy because you can't put 6 to 60, so it'd have to be 20.
Right. So our good. Our lesson yesterday. Hang on, guys. Our lesson yesterday was all about rounding and estimating. Choosing numbers that you can work with that are easy for you to work with so that you can eliminate some of the extra work if you're only finding an estimated answer. Okay, is it okay if I go ahead and divide all of this out? Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and divide it out. Bring down. 6 goes into 55 9 times. If you're talking, please stop while I'm trying to explain to you. Okay, so I'd have 1 left over. So 19 remainder 1 is what a lot of you ended up with. You gave me an exact answer, and then you rounded that to 20, which is fine. You're just working a lot harder than if you were to choose this method over here, where you start off with easier numbers to work with. Because if you start out with easier numbers to work with, you can probably do some of that in your head. Okay? All right, and here's another one. This is our last one for today. It's actually working lesson practice together. So 232, we're only going to do a couple. So open your books to 232. And we're going to choose a couple of problems to work together. So on page 232, we have several examples of division problems where we will have 0 in the quotient. So let's look at problem B. Okay, this is problem B. You get to work problem B on your whiteboard. Then we'll work it together. Problem B is 242 divided by 6. Okay? No, you are finding the exact answer. All right, on most of your boards, I saw this. 6 goes into 2. Okay, I'm dividing 6 into 2 first. 6 goes into 2 0 times. Okay, so I either put a 0 or a placeholder up there. 6 times 0 is 0. Subtract, bring down. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Now I'm dividing 6 into 24. 6 goes into 24 4 whole times. 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract, bring down. Why do I keep doing that? Okay. Now I'm dividing 6 into 2. 6 goes into 2 0 times. 6 times 0 is 0. Subtract. I don't have anything to bring down. So my answer is 40, remainder 2 for B. Is everybody good on that one? Yeah. You can shorten it for sure. You can leave out like that first step. My only concern with that is just making sure that your place value is lined up correctly, okay? If you told me that 6 goes into 2 4 times because you forgot about your placeholder there, you may end up messing up. So just be really careful about leaving out some of those steps that might seem a little unnecessary. They're necessary. You have to know they're happening, but as you get better at long division, you can skip some of those, okay? All right, let's also do H. H is 4981 divided by 6 again. Okay. So y'all work this out on your boards and then we'll check it together. All right, guys. So a lot of you are showing me answers that are exactly right or really close to being right. You're maybe just missing something. So first, I'm going to do different colors. I'm going to start with red to show 6 going into 4. 6 divides into 4 0 times. So 6 times 0 is 0. Subtract. Then I bring down the next. Okay, 6 goes into 49. 8 times, and 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract. Bring down the next digit. 6 goes into 18 3 times. 6 times 3 is 18. I have 0. When I subtract, I got to bring down. 6 goes into 1 0 times. Some of you left that part out at first. 6 times 0 is 0. I have 1 left over, so it's 830. Remainder 1. Okay? You have 20 minutes for your written practice today. We're doing written practice,
I forgot to print up here.
lesson 34. Lesson 34, numbers 4 through 6, want you to write an equation and solve it. Okay, it starts on page 232. I'm going to pass out your papers. As soon as you get your paper, you may start.